The envelope felt heavy in my hands. He was sitting across from me at the kitchen table, his leg bouncing up and down nervously. He looked like a man waiting for a winning lottery number. But I knew what was inside, and I knew that the moment I opened it, our marriage was effectively over. He reached out, his voice trembling just a little, and asked, "Can I see it?" I didn't hand it to him. Not yet. I looked him dead in the eyes I used to fall asleep gazing into, and I saw a stranger. I tore the seal. I pulled out the single sheet of paper. My eyes scanned down to the bottom. Probability of paternity, 99.999%. I didn't feel relief. I didn't feel joy. I felt a cold, hard knot of disgust tighten in my stomach. I slid the paper across the table to him. He grabbed it, his eyes darting frantically across the lines. Then his shoulders slumped. A massive exhale left his body. A smile, a genuine, relieved smile, broke across his face. He looked up at me, tears forming in his eyes, and said, "Oh my God, I knew it. I'm so sorry, babe. I was just scared. But look, we're okay now. We're a family." He reached for my hand. I pulled it away as if he were made of fire. "No," I said, my voice terrifyingly calm. "You aren't a family. You are a co-parent. I'm contacting a divorce lawyer in the morning." His smile vanished. "What? But I'm the father. The test proves it." "The test proves the baby is yours," I whispered. "But it also proves that you never deserved me." Before we find out exactly how he destroyed everything we built, hit that subscribe button. This is a true story from Reddit, rewritten for your entertainment. Let's rewind. To understand why that piece of paper was the final nail in the coffin, you have to understand who we were, or who I thought we were. Mark and I had been together for 5 years, married for 2. Our relationship was, by all accounts, a fairy tale. We rarely fought. We had the same sense of humor. We were best friends. When I found out I was pregnant, Mark cried tears of joy. He went to every ultrasound. He painted the nursery. He built the crib without complaining once. But around my 7th month of pregnancy, something shifted. It was subtle at first. He started working late. He became possessive of his phone, and worst of all, he stopped looking at me with love. He started looking at me with suspicion. If I went to the grocery store and took 20 minutes longer than usual, he would interrogate me. "Who did you see? Why did it take so long? Did you run into anyone?" I chalked it up to stress. "First-time dad jitters, right?" I tried to be understanding. I reassured him. I loved him through his anxiety. But then came the birth. It was a traumatic delivery. 24 hours of labor, emergency complications. I almost hemorrhaged. By the time our son Leo was placed in my arms, I was exhausted, broken, and recovering from major surgery. But I was happy. I looked at our beautiful baby boy, expecting to see Mark weeping with joy beside me. Instead, Mark was staring at the baby with a frown. "He doesn't look like me," Mark said. Those were the first words my husband said about our son. Not, "He's beautiful." Not, "Good job, honey." Just, "He doesn't look like me." I laughed it off, thinking he was joking. "Babies look like potatoes, Mark. Give him time." But Mark didn't laugh. He stayed quiet for the rest of the hospital stay. He didn't want to hold Leo. He didn't want to take photos. When we got home, the nightmare truly began. I was recovering from birth, trying to breastfeed, sleep-deprived and hormonal. I needed my partner. I needed my husband. Instead, I got a roommate who watched me like a hawk. One night, about 2 weeks after Leo was born, I was sitting on the couch nursing the baby. Mark walked in. He had been drinking, not drunk, but enough to have that liquid courage. He stood in front of me, blocking the TV. "I want a paternity test," he said. The room went silent. The only sound was the soft, suckling noises of our newborn. I looked up at him, confused. "What?" "You heard me," he snapped. "I want a paternity test. I've been doing the math. You went on that girls' trip to Miami right around conception. And Leo, he has blue eyes. I have brown eyes. You have hazel eyes. Where did the blue come from?" I felt like I had been slapped. "My father has blue eyes, Mark. It's genetics. It skips generations. Are you serious right now?" "I'm deadly serious," he said, crossing his arms. "I can't bond with him. I look at him and I don't feel connected. And my mom thinks it's suspicious, too." Ah, there it was. His mother, my mother-in-law, a woman who had never liked me, who always made jokes about how Mark could have done better. She had been in his ear. "So you're listening to your mother instead of your wife?" I asked, tears stinging my eyes. "Mark, I have never been with anyone else since the day we met. This is insulting. This is cruel." "If you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear," he recited. It was a line he had clearly rehearsed. I looked down at our son, my innocent, beautiful baby boy, who was being rejected by his own father because of paranoia and a toxic mother-in-law. Something inside me snapped. It wasn't rage. It wasn't sadness. It was clarity. Absolute, crystal clear clarity. "Okay," I said quietly. He looked surprised. "Okay?" "Yes," I said. "Book the test. Do whatever you need to do. But understand one thing, Mark." I waited until he looked me in the eye. "The moment those results come back positive, and they will, you are going to lose me. I will not stay married to a man who thinks I am capable of this kind of deceit. I will not raise my son in a house where his father looks at him with disgust." Mark rolled his eyes. "Stop being dramatic. I just need peace of mind. Once the test confirms he's mine, we can go back to normal." "There is no going back to normal," I told him. He didn't believe me. He booked the test the next day. They swabbed Leo's cheek. They swabbed Mark's cheek. And then began the waiting game. For 10 days, we lived in the same house, but we were worlds apart. Mark slept in the guest room. He barely spoke to me. He refused to buy diapers. He refused to help with night feedings. "I'm not investing time or money into a kid that might not be mine," he told me one night when I asked him to hold Leo so I could shower. I stood in the shower and cried until I nearly threw up. I packed a bag that night. I couldn't stay there. I took Leo and went to my sister's house. Mark didn't try to stop me. He just said, "Running away makes you look guilty." I didn't answer. I just left. During those 10 days at my sister's, I mourned. I mourned the death of my marriage. I mourned the father I thought Mark would be. My sister was furious. She wanted to go over there and slash his tires. My dad wanted to go over there and have a conversation with him, but I told them to wait. "Wait for the results," I said. "Let him see the truth first." And that brings us back to the kitchen table, back to the moment the smile wiped off his face. "You're contacting a divorce lawyer?" Mark stammered. "But why?" I just apologized. I admitted I was wrong." "You didn't just make a mistake, Mark," I said, standing up. "You rejected our son. You left me alone to care for a newborn while recovering from surgery because you were too busy listening to your poisonous mother. You told me you wouldn't invest in him. You called me a cheater and a liar." "I was stressed," he yelled, standing up too. "I was scared. Can't you forgive me?" "No," I said. "Trust is like a mirror. You can fix it if it's broken, but you can still see the crack in that motherfucker's reflection." Reference, Lady Gaga lyrics pop culture quote, usually works well here. "I'm taking Leo," I said. "We're leaving." "You can't take my son," he shouted. "He's mine. The test proves it." "The test proves biology," I shot back. "It doesn't prove you're a dad. You'll hear from my lawyer regarding custody arrangements." I walked out. I didn't look back. The weeks following that day were a blur of legal meetings and harassment. Mark didn't give up easily. He realized very quickly exactly what he had lost. He started sending flowers, huge bouquets of roses with notes begging for forgiveness. I threw them in the trash. He texted me constantly. "I miss you. I miss our family. I was an idiot. Please come home." Then his mother got involved. She called me sweet as pie, acting like nothing had happened. "Oh, honey, Mark is just devastated. You know how men are. They get nervous. You shouldn't break up a family over a little misunderstanding." I recorded the call. I sent it to my lawyer. Then I blocked her number. During the divorce mediation, Mark looked like a ghost. He had lost weight. He hadn't shaved. He tried to use the mediation sessions to win me back. "I've signed up for therapy," he told me across the conference table. "I'm cutting my mom off. I'll do anything." I looked at him and felt pity. Not love, just pity. "Mark," I said, "do you remember when you told me you wouldn't hold Leo because you didn't want to invest in a kid that wasn't yours?" He flinched. "I didn't mean it." "You did," I said, "and I will never forget it. Every time I look at you, I hear those words. I can't build a life on that foundation." We settled on 50-50 custody eventually. I wasn't going to keep Leo from his father as much as I wanted to protect him, but the first time I dropped Leo off at Mark's new apartment for his weekend visit, I saw the pain in Mark's eyes. He saw me looking happy. He saw that I had lost the baby weight. He saw that I was glowing, thriving without him. He tried to hug me goodbye. I stepped back. "Please," he whispered. "Is there really no chance, even in the future?" I looked at him, strapped the diaper bag onto his shoulder, and gave him the most honest answer I could. "The man I married died the day you asked for that test. I don't date strangers." It's been 6 months since the divorce was finalized. Mark is still single. He posts sad quotes on Facebook about regret and losing the best thing you ever had. His mother tries to comment on my Instagram photos of Leo, acting like the doting grandma. I delete them instantly. As for me, I'm tired. Raising a baby alone half the time is hard, but it's a million times easier than sleeping next to a man who doesn't trust me. I look at Leo, with his bright blue eyes, eyes that came from my father, eyes that are undeniably mine, and I know I made the right choice. A paternity test can tell you who the father is, but only time can tell you who the man is, and I didn't have time to waste. So, here is my question to you guys. Was I too harsh? Some of our mutual friends say I should have given him a second chance, that postpartum anxiety affects dads too, and he made a mistake out of fear. They say I threw away a marriage over 1 bad month, But others say that the lack of trust was a fatal wound that could never heal. Did I pull the trigger on the divorce too fast, or did I save myself from a lifetime of suspicion? Let me know in the comments below. And if you've ever had a partner accuse you of something crazy, tell me your story. I read every single comment. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories like this. See you in the next one.